starting. I can't wait to see the project that WashU put together for communities in unity. I'm excited.
And like other places around the country, a lot of some of the same problems.
Communities in Unity would be the property owner. They would lease out the retail space to the tenants who would serve in a variety of capacities, both for-profit and non-profit. A number of service providers who operate in the Ferguson-Florissant area and in North County.
Our team felt like we needed to get a better handle on what exactly was going on in North County. We focused specifically on retail saturation and on the current competition in the area. When we looked into saturation specifically, we were lucky enough to sit down with the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership. And the first thing I can say is that they were very positive about this project and they were very encouraging about it on a macro scale. But they did caution us, and what we learned was, in fact, there are certain areas in North County where there is retail saturation and, in fact, oversaturation in some areas, Ferguson, Delwood being one of them. And so what we felt like is that we were left with effectively two options. Option A would be to locate Unity Plaza somewhere like Spanish Lake or Wellston in an area that there was no retail saturation, and focus the plaza more on community retail. And the other option would be to go into Ferguson, Delwood, that specific area that we had originally been looking at, but focus more on community development. From the local community, they're hiring full-time positions with benefits. STL Youth Jobs is up there, that's a partnership with Ferguson. And they can do that specifically because they have a secret weapon, and that secret weapon is Damien and Teresa. And what they have that a lot of these initiatives don't have is they've got the connections to the roots of that community. And these initiatives need those roots, they need those connections, and a lot of them don't have them right now and they're looking for them.
A couple years down the road. So first, as I mentioned, the Steinberg Group was incredibly helpful in this project. We actually sat down with them a couple times to help build out these pro formas and these financial forecasts. And the Steinberg Group is a commercial real estate company here in St. Louis that specializes in shopping centers and commercial districts like Unity Plaza. So we get that land for at least a discounted rate, if not for free and donated. And finally, this project is in the promise zone, which means that the federal government has decided that they're going to have a concerted effort to invest in this community. What does this all mean? Why do we run all these numbers if the real value is in this intangible? We think it's both. We think depending on who you're talking to, some people are really going to want to see those numbers and those percentages and those returns. And some people are really going to want to understand the intangibles. So we broke that down a little bit as well. Based on research that's been going into the long-term impacts of investing in communities, you can see a return for every $1 invested.
So looking at our audiences, we've got four big pieces, right? We've got the youth, some of which have been gracious enough to come here today. Really appreciate your time and presence. You guys are the most important aspect of making this thing great. We need a place that you can be proud of, a place that you want to go to, that you want to go and learn, create, share ideas. Next audience is the tenants themselves. We need to create an inclusive environment for tenants that they want to come, they want to set up shop there, they want to deliver their products and services on the nonprofit side or potentially on the small retail side. So we need to provide a clean cosmopolitan area that is attractive for them to come open their doors. Our area impact partners are places like, people like the big nonprofits, the United Ways, the Urban Leagues, Starbucks, Emerson's. Come back, be a higher net worth individual within the Ferguson area and further matriculate that income throughout the community. Entrepreneurship also allows for people to start their own business in Ferguson, continue to circulate funds and grow that economic base that starts with communities in unity.
We actually got Damien and Teresa, CIU. Thank you. And at this point, we would love to open it up to any questions that you might have. Keeping in mind, we will give Damien and Teresa the floor.
Yeah, and oddly enough, I actually had a conversation with them yesterday. I saw Orv, the executive director, yesterday. So I'm a friend of his, and we talked a little bit about this.
Head of the game.
$2,500 to go into the bank and handle the day-to-day expenses of developing the project.
Not necessarily developing the project, but for our marketing campaign for this summer, and in relation to helping, having the young people help us with some of the things for on the internet and social media and things of that nature, and getting the word out. That's the amount of money that we need to do our actual marketing campaign for just this summer of 2016.
you think of in terms of our operating expenses, just from a day to day to sustain the organization? Yeah, we're working with the Steinberg group, because that was one of the questions they had. We had this long-term budget developed, and, they have their development person was interested in helping us kind of develop a budget to really see what are the real kind of day-to-day expenses. Teresa and I, for the last year, have kind of done this, out of our pockets and the help of our close friends. Some of are here today, in terms of, the donations where they could. We're now at a point, for the next year as we do this, the campaign to make the connections, to make the community more aware of what we do, that we do need some to be able to be sustained till we get to a point, where we're actually, implementing the project. So, I would think, that would probably be between a $10,000 to $20,000 budget for the organization, for the next 6 months, if that's what you're thinking. Yeah.
Before $2,500.
Yeah. But the 25 is something where, and that's also part of the governance conversation, as we put our board together to have that conversation, to say, what are the best ways for us to kind of get that initial, base of capital to sustain ourselves and our operation, because, we've been, again, doing it for, over a year, kind of, out of pocket and out of the generosity of our advisors.
Around what those resources might be. Where do we go from here? Good question.
Yeah, so that's something that drew me to this overall project. And you all did a great job, Eric, Jonah, D'Angela, and Taylor. So thank you.
I'm Morgan Bradley, currently a student of mass communications at Forest Park. Teresa is actually my mom. And,
Full disclosure.
and one thing that actually drew me to the project, short of her being my mom, is that my mom, before Ferguson, always talked a lot about investment in the community. How things come into our community and they offer jobs, but they don't necessarily invest back into our community and create a fight. I think the biggest thing is the fact that it's a financial base for the community, and the money comes directly back to us and directly back into the youth and directly back into our community. So we continue. So it's something that will continue to help us throughout the years, instead of just offering us jobs and the money goes to some CEO somewhere that we have no idea and we never see the profits. And another thing about it was, like CJ said, the creative aspect, because all the people who I hang out with, and they can all give you their resumes, these are creative people who have hard times finding places to expand on their creativity and places to express their creativity, and who love to give back and share their talents with the youth. So having this kind of place just brings all of those aspects together, and I haven't seen anything like it. So.
And we couldn't have imagined we would be here presenting in front of this group at this location. It means a lot to Teresa and I know if she could speak, she would feel the same way.
I'll say a little bit of
Yeah, But again, thank you very much. I just wanted to say that. We hope that the presentation, gave you an overview, of what we're doing, and more importantly, why we're doing it. Dr. Carter would always say, state the big dumb problem. Don't talk around it. What do you need? And historically, in the African American community, we have not owned the institutions that we walk by every day. We have not benefited economically from the institutions that are in our midst. And those resources, which many other communities just take for granted, you don't really have to think about it. It's us. I mean, and you can visually see it in the plaza. You can point to it. Those are young entrepreneurs right there. And in 10 years, they're going to run this. And like you were saying, it just multiplies. So, hopefully from the 7, we get 70, and we keep going and going. And we hope in this next year, a year from now, we're at a place where we're breaking ground on something. And we hope everyone in this room, will talk about, building our governance board and building our infrastructure. But I think we have right now is the reason, the rationale, the proof that it can work. Walk with us to the next stage, and help make it a reality. So with that, I'll let Teresa say a few words and come on up.
Thank you so much, Tim. You guys did a fabulous job. And thank you for everyone for coming and for standing by us and supporting us. I just wanted to say that what we need to do is we need to take more of a proactive approach when it comes to helping in the community. Not so much reactionary. Things happen, then we react to it. Things happen, we react to it. Let's be a little more proactive and do things like this here so you don't have those problems. And we also wanted to do this project to connect individuals to their community. There's a big disconnect around you and also more of a connection with the businesses there. So this is also a way to bring that connection, which is very much needed in our community. I would say more, but I'm a little hoarse. But so thank you so much for all of your support. And if you have any questions, we can
A little surprise for you as well. Thank you for the business cards, but we talked about you guys. We just wanted to let you know we were presenting each of our students with a certificate of appreciation from our youth, us, Communities in Unity. And again, thank you for everything. I don't even have enough words to express it, but you guys know how I feel about you. And, you know, just as a, quick saying that, Communities in Unity, certificate of appreciation presented to each of you. On behalf of Communities in Unity and the youth of the Ferguson Poetry Club, we extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation for your effort, commitment, and dedication to community empowerment.